Rage Nation, Kimber Schaefer here. We've got something new coming your way. It is an entire weekend of mixed martial arts action. We're calling it the Summer Showdown. August 6th, that's on a Friday. We're doing Roll in the Cage event, followed by Rage in the Cage on August 7th. It's going to be a fantastic night of fights. And I'm telling you, it's going to heat up in the room when this guy right here takes in the cage. This is Jacob Maley. You're no stranger to the cage, no stranger to Rage in the Cage. In fact, you've held one of our titles previously, but you did take some time off, a couple of years, just came back to fighting back in May. So tell me a little bit about your career so far in mixed martial arts.
Yes, I'm 5-1, out of Oklahoma, obviously. I've held the 125 championship for Rage in the Cage. All my fights are pretty much out of Oklahoma. I had a couple out of Kansas because that's where I'm originally from. I did karate when I was 11. Didn't really like it. I was more of a violent person, so I got into wrestling, and then wrestling led into jiu-jitsu, and then jiu-jitsu led into MMA.
So if I'm remembering correctly, and it's been a few years since I've interviewed you, you did have quite a few accomplishments when it came to wrestling. Tell me a little bit about your wrestling.
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself like that accomplished of a wrestler. I only wrestled for 3 years, but I mean, I was pretty basic wrestler. Wasn't nothing special. But, yeah.
Well, I beg to differ. I mean, I remember, gosh, it would have been Kickapoo Casino. It would have been like Rage 40-ish or maybe, like way back then.
Way back.
What a night of fights that was. And I think, was that the night that you won your title?
Was
that at Kickapoo?
I think it was at Sugar Creek that I won.
Okay.
It was against Sonny Doss, just 125.
Okay.
Second round submission. So, yeah.
What an exciting career you've had already, and just to be an amateur, and just you've got 7 fights under your belt, but you've already made such a impact on martial arts, and you know, you've had so many great coaches along the way to really kind of like lay that groundwork for you. I mean, Jason Greer was an amazing coach there out of Altus, and now you're training at Prodigy with the guys out there. And I mean, I was so surprised to hear you drive an hour to train. How many days a week do you do that?
As many as I can. I mean, I can't do 7 because on the body it's just a lot because they beat me up over there a lot. But usually 5-6 days a week is usually what I drive. So, but I work in the city, so it's not too bad.
Oh, well, that's true. I mean, I act like that's huge. I guess I live out in the boonies and I drive 40 minutes to go anywhere. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, but it does, you know, if I'm having to drive to the city every day, I mean, it's a lot because you're in the car basically 2 hours a day just driving, and I mean, you only have 24 hours in a day,
exactly.
So makes it hard sometimes. So, all right, so you came back in May. How did that feel after being off for a couple of years? Did you feel like you had to kind of wipe some rust off for a little bit?
Not really. They kind of wiped the rust off of me in practice. I like to say they beat the shit out of me sometimes. You know, they're all bigger dudes. Pretty much one of the smaller guys there. I mean, Marcel, Zach, you know, all those guys, Dan. But it felt good to win. You know, I already knew I was going to win since I trained so hard with all those guys over there, and they get me ready every time.
All right, so this is another title fight for you. This is a 135 belt versus Randy Ray, I believe. So do you train any differently for a title fight? I mean, you've already won a title before, so is it still that, you know, meaningful to you? Is it still like, you know, because a lot of fighters, that's like a huge accomplishment when they get that title.
I would say when I won the first title when I was 18, it was a huge accomplishment. But then, like, later on, it like right now, it's not really that big of an accomplishment to me because it's like the title. I don't really care about the title. I care more about the person I'm fighting. Like, Randy Ray is a good name to put on my resume. If I beat him, that's going to look good on me. And my ultimate goal is to be in the UFC, so it's just a stepping stone towards that.
Right. And, you know, as you know, the title brings an opportunity to fight the toughest in your weight class. In order to get to the next level, that's what you have to do. So this will be really good for you in your career. So excited to see you out there and fighting once again. Any last words, any shout outs before we wrap it up?
I want to say thank you to my teammates, Tyler, Marcel, Zach, Dan, Taylor, all those guys over there at Prodigy Jiu-Jitsu. Shout out to my sponsors, Brent and Robinson from Elite Training in Tulsa, all those guys.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you to all your sponsors. And of course, thank you to Rage in the Cage fans for always supporting these fighters and buying tickets from them and coming to our events and helping us continue to do this. And this is going to be a huge one, so we need lots of support. Actually, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to sell out pretty quick. I mean, we've got JC Cottrell, UFC vet, on Roll in the Cage, and then just a phenomenal fight card, of course, for Justin DeAngelis, former OU wrestler, of course, fighting JC Cottrell, and then Rage in the Cage, just a stacked fight card top to bottom. If you guys want in on the action, of course, you can get your tickets at stubwire.com or any of these fighters on the card. Also, Fight TV, if you're not able to get a ticket, of course, you can watch both events on Fight TV, and we hope to see you guys there August 6th and 7th for our Summer Showdown, Rage Nation, going down at the Farmers Market, and see you then.